Make sure Dee Dee's ready.
Oh, I'm okay. Y'all go ahead. I can do this while we talk.
Welcome to another episode of Sister Sharpens Sister. My name is Karen. Both of my sisters happen to be in blue. In the dark blue, you will see Delina, and in the light blue, you will see Shalon. Shalon also has some flowers in her hair, and those are from where?
These are from my rose bushes out in my backyard.
So they're real.
They are real. Yes.
They're very pretty.
Thank
Um,
you.
Today's episode, if you hadn't guessed, is about flowers. We, as humans, rely on flowers. So Dee Dee's gonna start, and then Shalon will go second, and then I will go last. We've got three different types of information. A little bit of it might overlap, but that's okay because we have plenty, I promise. What have you got, Dee?
Okay.
I've kind of got the boring part, so I'm going to start off with the biology. Okay. And to define biology, it's basically the study of living organisms. Um,
We got to know
let
what
me
we're talking about, right?
exactly. Plant parts. Okay. Now I've got a website that I will share with Karen so she can have it up. People can go look at it. So a flower typically has four main parts. Okay. We got the sepals, which is the outermost layer of the flower, like the green leafy parts, and its purpose is to protect the bud before it opens. The petals, which is usually the colorful, showy part of the flower, and they are designed like they are with the different colors and all to attract pollinators and possibly people. The stamens, which is the male reproductive organs, and each stamen consists of two parts: the anther, which is the pollen producing part, and the filament, which is a stalk that supports it. The pistil is the female reproductive organ, consists of the stigma, which is the sticky surface at the top, where the pollen falls. The style, style, is the tube-like structure that connects the stigma to the ovary, and the ovary is the base of the pistil containing the ovules, which develop into seeds after fertilized or will develop into the fruit, like on an apple tree. Okay. And I've got that website I will share with Karen. Now, when it comes to pollination, it will either be self-pollination or cross-pollination, primarily. Flowers are either male or female or both. Okay. Now, a perfect flower, and they're defined as perfect flowers, have both male and female parts within the same flower. An example would be like a marigold or a sunflower. They don't need external anything to pollinate because wind or anything like that, they will pollinate themselves. Okay. Now, apple trees are both male and female within one blossom. Some apple trees will self pollinate, some won't, even though they're contained in the same blossom. It's as if it knows that it's pollinating itself and it just won't work. So they have to have cross pollination. Okay. And even flowers that do self pollinate, they are cross pollinated because bees and birds and all kinds of insects go over all kinds of different flowers and go to different flowers. So there's cross pollination happening, even if flowers can self pollinate. And then we have what is called the imperfect flower. The imperfect flowers are either male or female, one or the other. We have the monoecious plants, which have both male and female imperfect flowers on the same plant. And an example of that is corn and squash. Both on the same
Okay.
plant. Mm-hmm. And then we have the dioecious plants that have separate male and female parts, with the male parts on one plant and the female plants on the other plant. And an example of that might be like a holly bush or a pistachio bush or a tree bush. I don't know if it's a tree or a bush, but anyway, it's not, they flower, but it's not like a flower, like a sunflower or like the flower Shalon has in her hair. There is something called hand pollination. That's when I will pollinate my own vegetables in my own garden. You can do that. And I've got a website of a woman that's talking about doing it, and it even shows her doing it. I find it very interesting because she is actually self-pollinating. I think it's squash and watermelon.
Okay.
Okay.
I saw someone do this to get those giant pumpkins.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
interesting how they did it.
Yeah, it is. It's very interesting to do. I've not done it, but I've watched it. She used a
Mhm.
paintbrush and she took the from the male and then painted it on the female, and then it's going to develop into a fruit. And with the watermelon, I think it was a watermelon, she actually took the male flower and just broke it off and took it and touched it to the female flower.
That's how that guy I watched do, that's what he did with the pumpkin,
Hmm.
is he just took the male flower off,
Hmm.
touched it to the female, and then closed the female flower and wrapped it in gauze.
Well, she didn't do
Really?
anything like that. Well, maybe she did because maybe I just didn't finish watching it. But
Hmm.
I was just really watching to see what it was, and I found it very interesting.
Do you
Yeah.
know, is she like a master gardener?
I don't know. I just was looking through information on flower pollination, and I saw hand pollination. I'm like, well, what is hand pollination? So I went looking at it, and I found out what it was. And then her YouTube video was there, and I watched it, or at least watched part of it. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, well, this is pretty interesting. This might be actually fun to do. And so I've got her little YouTube video that people can look in and follow her and do more stuff. And she's from Australia.
Okay.
Okay. So that's hand pollination. Now, and I'm not going into a whole big bunch of details here, okay? Because this is actually pretty complicated. Because we're talking about genetics here, okay? Because you can actually have cross-pollination of two completely different plants as long as they're in the same species. Like if you're growing zucchini and yellow squash, they can pollinate each other. Okay. Now, from what I understand from my reading, if they cross-pollinate each other, the fruit you're going to get will be the fruit of whatever plant it's growing from. So if it's a female yellow squash that gets pollinated from a male zucchini, it's going to be a yellow squash. But if you take the seeds from that yellow squash and grow plants from them, it's going to be the hybrid.
Huh.
Yeah. So I don't know all the details of it because I was looking and there's all kinds of information. And I'm like, this is kind of complicated. And I've even heard some scientists say, oh, biology's nothing. I think they don't even know what they're talking about. Biology is very complicated.
Yeah, it is. It makes me want to experiment.
Shucks. That's so interesting. That's so, oh my goodness.
Right?
Next year, I'm going to grow squash and zucchini
Right. See what happens and save the seeds.
and get the seeds and then have a hybrid. I wonder what color, would it just be yellow and green?
I don't know. Like what shape would it be?
Right. Because, zucchini are just long, but squash has like a figure to it.
Right?
Yes.
And if you're someone out there that doesn't know if it is or it isn't, I'm going to challenge you to go read about the Krebs cycle or the
Oh
citric
my
acid
gosh.
cycle. Okay, that's biology. And it is not easy. It's complicated. And it's so even the genetics of plants and flowers, it's not simple. So don't be thinking that it is. And I'm leaving a lot of stuff out because it would bore people to death unless you're really, really, really interested in it.
Yeah.
But if you are, I've got some websites I'm going to give to Karen, and Karen will post them, and you can
Yep.
use those to do some research and then further your research from there.
Yep.
Okay. How flowers provide food. Okay.
Food is good. It's one of my favorite
Food
F
is,
words.
yes, absolutely. Flowers provide all kinds of food. They will provide, the flower itself, if it's edible, the flower itself can give us nutrients like vitamins, minerals, antioxidants. But flowers themselves are not a major food source for us. The major food source from us comes from the fruit that comes from the flower. So even though you can add the actual flower to your dishes, and I'm not going to say don't do it, I'm I'm going to leave those for the birds and the bees because that's where they get their food from. It's the nectar and the pollen.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was a big thing not too long ago that people started putting edible flowers on things like salads and
Hmm.
different meat dishes and stuff as just to make it pretty.
Yeah.
Yes.
And a lot of people didn't realize that those flowers were actually edible.
Well, and they are. And I'm not saying don't do it. I mean, if you're growing edible flowers in your garden, by all means, use them in your own food if you want to.
Hmm.
But I'm probably not going to do that. I'm going to leave them for the insects and the bees.
We
I'm
could
Yeah.
grow
not going
zucchini flowers, Karen.
Hmm. But I would rather have the zucchini.
to.
I do wonder what
Yes.
they taste like, though.
I don't know. You have to pull one off and eat it.
I wonder if it tastes like zucchini.
I saw someone where they fried it. They actually battered it and fried it.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Food Network.
okay.
Wow.
All right. Well, food using the flowers as food for like birds and bees and other insects is nectar because flowers produce nectar in special structures called nectarines, nectarines, and
Not
it's
to
a
be
sugary
confused
liquid.
with fruit.
Correct. The sugary liquid attracts pollinators like bees, butterflies, and hummingbirds, and it can be scented or contain stimulants like caffeine to further entice the pollinators.
Caffeine.
Pollen. I'm sorry.
You said caffeine?
That's what I found. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. Can you imagine hummingbirds on that caffeine?
No.
And flowers also have pollen. Now, pollen containing the male reproductive cells is produced by the anthers of the flower. Now, pollinators collect the pollen while feeding on nectar or sometimes specifically for the pollen itself. The pollen, as the insect goes or bird goes from flower to flower to flower to flower, it's going to take that pollen and deposit some of it on the other flowers.
One of my favorite pictures that I've ever seen was picture of a bumblebee and it was covered in
Yeah.
pollen.
Yes, they do. They carry it because they actually the bees feed on and require both nectar and pollen. The nectar is for energy, and the pollen provides protein and other nutrients. So the bees will
Hmm.
do both of them. Nuts are actually fruits.
Yeah.
Okay, they are defined as dry, single-seeded fruits that have a high oil content. They are usually enclosed in a leathery or solid outer layer, and that's from the USDA.
Okay, does that include peanuts? They grow underground,
That's a
right?
bean.
Yeah,
A
A
that's a
peanut
peanut is
is
a
a
legume.
bean?
bean. It's a
Oh,
legume. Yeah.
It's a
okay.
legume. I didn't look up any information on peanuts, but if there's a flower and if the nut comes from a flower, then it's a fruit. So now I looked up a little bit of information about coconuts. Coconuts are called drupes or stone fruits like peaches. You can
Mm.
take a coconut and if it's ripe and it's at the right stage, plant it in the ground. Don't cover it completely, but cover it partly in the ground and make sure it's watered and has plenty of sun and all that good stuff, and it will grow you a coconut tree. Mhm. So I mean, that's your basic biology of flowers. I mean,
Hmm.
it's kind of boring, I know, but that's basically the basic biology of a flower, and I like the idea of hand pollinating.
Yeah,
Yeah. Karen and I are like, right, next year we're growing squash and zucchini, and we're going to
and
do.
zucchini. Yeah. I
We're gonna
actually
cross
have a
pollinate those.
squash.
Oh, do
Yeah,
you?
I've got a squash growing. It's got
Eh.
nice.
several flowers on it. So I will have to look at this information that Dee Dee's going to give, yeah,
Yeah,
and see what I can. Oh, I need to go get some gauze so I can wrap that one up.
Well, that guy was, I don't remember. He was some like champion pumpkin grower or something like that.
Okay.
No, that was like his method with pumpkins. I don't know if it has to be that with other things, but
hmm
yeah,
Well,
he like,
it would distinguish it so that I would know that particular zucchini or whatever is the one that I had cross-pollinated with the
yeah,
squash.
hmm
yeah,
But like
yeah.
keep these seeds.
yeah, grow and see what happens with them. Yeah,
Yeah.
Mhm. But I spoke with Mother, and I asked her what her favorite flowers were. And she told me that she loves the smell of a rose. She loves daisies. She thinks that they're fresh.
Yeah.
And she likes lilac, the smell of a lilac bush. She also told me that Mama's favorite flower was a violet,
Mm.
and that uh, did you call him Pawpaw?
Hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
I did not have the privilege of meeting my mother's father, so I didn't call him anything, but y'all called him Pawpaw.
Hmm.
His favorite flower was a lily.
Mm. I wonder why.
I wonder why. I
Hmm.
know. Maybe because his wife's name was Lily. And then mother reminisced a little bit with me, and she said that she remembered that Papa would always plant lilies on top of the rock wall
Hmm.
when she was young and older. And he also would always plant sunflowers in their garden.
Ha.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember him doing sunflowers.
Yeah.
And I remember the lilies too. The lilies planted. So what's your
Hmm.
favorite flower, Shalon?
I was going to ask y'all that next.
Okay. Well, mine is a Casablanca lily as far as my flower goes. So I guess I'm a lily girl too.
Uh-huh.
As far as looking at them.
Yeah.
Probably a gardenia is the way they smell.
Mm.
Mm. I like roses and daisies equally.
Uh, Rose is my favorite flower. And then I actually used to grow orchids in Florida. So I'm fond of orchids. I think they look like vaginas.
They do.
So the next time you look at an orchid, it'll never be the same. Uh, Anna told me that her favorite flowers are an azalea
Mm.
and hydrangeas. And
Okay.
Jem shared that her favorite flowers were sunflowers, orchids, and iris.
Ah, okay.
Iris, that's the state flower of Tennessee. It's
Now,
a pretty
what was the
flower.
state flower of Florida?
Orange
I think it's
blossom.
orange blossom.
Yeah. And West Virginia is the rhododendron.
Rhododendron. Do you know what rhododendron means? Did you write that
It
down?
it means rose tree.
No, I mean like the meaning of it from back when. Because I found that I told Karen before you came on, Dee, that I found a book that was written in 1884, an ebook, and it has flowers and their meanings. Rhododendron means danger, beware.
Right. You know why? It's poisonous.
Okay, didn't know that.
Yeah. It said in various cultures, rhododendrons carry profound symbolism. In Victorian flower language, they symbolize to beware due to their toxicity. However, they also represent beauty, love, and elegance. And in Chinese culture, the rhododendron symbolizes abundance and success.
Wow,
So,
that's cool. All right, I got into just a little bit about how flowers and gardening period is therapeutic. All right, I found
mm,
a PubMed article that actually referenced several studies about how therapeutic gardening is.
mm-hmm.
And just the simple act of gardening can reduce our stress and anxiety. It's going to improve your mood. It's going to give you a sense of accomplishment because you're taking care of something. And it's going to connect us with nature, which I think that we should do every day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because I always feel so much better when I kick my shoes off and I walk out back and I just listen to the birds and look at the flowers and smell the flowers and
Yeah.
do all the things. I am a person that will be walking and I will detour to smell a flower.
Yep. Same.
I have
Or take a
to.
picture of it.
Yeah, that too. Um, The vibrant colors and the smells of the flowers is uplifting for our mood. There's a lot of stimulation as far as all of our senses, though, because we're exposed when we're gardening and getting our hands dirty. We are exposed to different textures, the different smells, the smell of the dirt, the smell of the leaves and the flowers, the sounds of nature when we're outside gardening. Uh, all of that is enjoyable, and it grounds you. I also found an article from the Mayo Clinic that talked about how much time you spend in nature. When we're outside, we automatically begin to breathe deeper.
Mm.
So it clears out our lungs. It helps improve our digestion. It is going to improve our immune response. And that, of course, that breathing deeply will raise our oxygen levels in the body, which is good. Being outside can also, it reduces our heart rate and our muscle tension, and you're out in the sun, so you're helping your vitamin D. The PubMed article that I found referenced a Japanese study that said simply viewing plants altered people's EEG readings, reduced their stress, and also reduced their blood pressure, their pulse rate, and their muscle tension simply by viewing flowers.
Wow.
And then it also talks in this article about something that, doctors' offices and hospitals have been implementing gardens for healing. And as a matter of fact, my dentist office in Florida had in the room always had a nice big window in every room, and there was a little garden outside the window.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't
It
as
lends a lot of
stressful.
credence to like at Trans-Allegheny, when I went to Trans-Allegheny, right?
Mm-hmm.
They had their patients gardening,
Yeah,
not only to provide food and stuff for them, but to help them to
but
heal.
yeah, because of the therapeutic things
Yes.
that it does for us. Yes.
And
Yeah. This article also referenced the viewing of plants and trees for post-operative wards, which would improve the patient's mood and reduce analgesic use, surgical complications, and the length of their stay.
wow. I love it.
I also looked up different occupations you can have that deal with flowers. And of course, as a florist, making arrangements and doing that whole nine. But you can also just grow them. You could be the farmer for the flowers of your local florist. Let's see. And then there's also, I was found floral culturist.
Yeah.
Floriculturist, where they grow ornamental plants, and their skills are they have the advanced knowledge in plant science and genetics, like Dee Dee was talking about, and the different breeding that can be done. So they're more of the scientific part of working with flowers and coming up with new species and crossbreeds and stuff like that, which I
That would
thought
be
was
interesting.
yeah. Something else that flower gardening does is there's a whole community around that. You're outside, you see your neighbors. You might actually belong to a garden club, which I know many cities have. His grandmother is actually an avid garden clubber and has been for years. And so much so that her floral designs and everything that she has done has gotten her many, many awards, and even like featured in Disney's Epcot has a festival every year of flowers, and she was able to go up there several times and be recognized for winning stuff. So
That's awesome.
yeah, so there's also a competitive side to flowers.
Yeah. Yeah, especially around orchids and roses.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And the thing with orchids is everybody wants to like be all up over an orchid and just freak out about it. And it's what I've noticed and what Mother has noticed is if you just leave them alone, they do just fine.
Yeah, if you just ignore it.
Yeah. Yeah. I know she has an orchid that Dee you had,
Yeah. Yeah.
and put it outside in her
Yeah.
backyard. And let me tell you, this thing is taller than me. I'm 5'5",
Yeah, it's
and
like
Mhm.
it's
6 foot
taller than
tall.
me,
It's
and
ginormous.
blooms like mad.
Yeah.
Um,
Crazy.
I think that's all I had, other than, yeah, I listed everybody's favorite flowers and talked about therapeutic things with flowers and gardening. Oh, there's also a lot of medicines that are derived from plants and or flowers particularly, and I don't know if people realize this, but just to list off a few things: aspirin, morphine, and codeine. Chamomile, obviously, everybody's heard of chamomile tea for calming. Echinacea for immune support. Elderflower for immune support. Uh,
Mhm.
and let's see, this information I pulled up also referenced turmeric. Even though the turmeric is the root, it says that the vibrant yellow flowers also have anti-inflammatory properties.
Oh,
Hmm.
wow, that's cool.
Mhm.
Yeah. I will, of course, have all the links for Karen. The end.
Yeah, yeah, I didn't want to talk over you. I kind of went like I don't know what you would say, the Hallmark version of flowers. And I looked up like some of the more popular flowers in the United States, and like a flower is supposed to have a meaning, like Shalom was talking about with that book.
Mhm.
And some of the more common ones for the United States are obviously roses,
Mhm.
and that means that it is romantic, passionate, and loyal. Tulips is one that's pretty popular, and I like tulips. They're very cheery.
I do too. Yeah.
Yeah, they are a very cheery flower. And I like
Yeah.
looking at the pictures that you see, like from Holland, when
Mhm.
all of the fields are in bloom, right?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Yes.
Well, the tulip it signifies cheerfulness, optimism, and adaptability. The sunflower is very popular. It is warm, loyal, and uplifting. People that have sunflower as their favorite flower, you can see them as dependable and full of sunshine, no matter what. The lily is elegant and graceful. People who appreciate the lily love beauty and detail, and they carry themselves with quiet strength. The daisy is honest and youthful at heart, and the person who likes daisies, they value authenticity and the simple joys in life. Now, an orchid, unique, creative, and a little mysterious. You seek quality over quantity in relationships. And one that I didn't think about that popped up on this list is the peony.
Oh, yeah.
You see those a lot in art.
Mhm.
The peony is romantic, sentimental, and nurturing. These people love creating beauty and comfort for the people that they care about. The hydrangea, empathetic and thoughtful. They value harmony in relationships and often play the role of the peacekeeper. The carnation. When I think of a carnation, I think of one of two things: high school prom and funerals.
Yeah. Me too.
Carnation is dependable, down to earth, and loyal. They cherish long lasting bonds and quiet strength. And then the last one is a cherry blossom: gentle,
Mm.
reflective, and spiritual. The people that like cherry blossoms see the beauty in fleeting moments and appreciate the now. And that was, that's the hallmark version of the flowers, but I also looked a little bit into the rhododendron because it's the state flower of West Virginia. The rhododendron, the word itself is from ancient Greek. It means rose and tree. It's a very large species of woody plant. And when I say very large, there's over 1,000 different species of rhododendrons. They're either evergreen or deciduous. The ones in West Virginia are evergreen. They are green throughout the year, and then in the summer, usually in June, July, August, they start to bloom. Some species of rhododendron are toxic to grazing animals, and because of a toxin called gyanotoxin that's in the pollen and the nectar, people have been known to become ill. And this, I never thought about this, but catch this. In ancient times, like 401 BC, during the March of the 10,000, Greek soldiers consumed honey in a village that had been uh, got from bees that had been on rhododendrons, right? It caused them to have hallucinations and diarrhea. There is similar cases that occurred in the 1980s in Istanbul, Turkey, of people that had consumed honey from bees that had been to rhododendrons. I just thought that was wild.
Mm-hmm.
Rhododendron is actually, it's very popular as an ornamental plant in
Mhm.
landscapes and gardening.
Mm-hmm.
The rhododendron maximus is the one that is the state flower of West Virginia, and it's also on the flag.
Sorry.
The next one, people have a love-hate relationship with. Can you guess? The dandelion.
Oh, yeah.
Why?
Okay. The dandelions, they're everywhere. You see fields of them in rural areas, and you will also see them growing up through the cracks in a sidewalk. All right.
Mm-hmm.
The dandelion flower meaning has resilience, survival, emotional healing, fulfillment of wishes. Just think about the dandelion puff. When you blow on it, you're supposed to be making a wish, right?
Mm-hmm.
And people hate it because it's in their lawns. But here's the thing, the entire dandelion plant is edible, and it's been used as a medicinal plant since Roman times. And several countries actually cultivate it for its medicinal purposes. The dandelion leaves or greens can be put in your salad. The flower and the root can be used to extract wine, which they said tastes similar to sherry. And you can also take the root and make a tea. And then we have roses. We've touched on roses. Roses are one of the oldest flowers ever on the face of the planet. Archaeologists have discovered rose fossils that date back as far as 35 million years. And
Wow.
according to the Guinness Book of World Records, roses are the oldest species of plant to be grown as a decoration. It was cultivated for decorative purposes. Also, they would take the petals and the inside parts that Dee Dee talked about earlier and make oils and rose water, make perfume. They would use it as a decoration on plates for meals and parts. Some roses you can actually eat the petals. There is evidence that dates back to 5,000 years ago when the Japanese and the Chinese created rose gardens for ornamental reasons. So
Mhm.
roses have been around for like ever. They were probably in the Garden of Eden. The oldest living rose is over 1,000 years old.
Wow.
There's a rose plant that grows on the wall of a cathedral in Germany in the town of Hildesheim. Maybe pronouncing that right, maybe not. And its presence has been documented since AD 815. So it was actually there before then. This is just when they started documenting about it. So it makes
Yeah,
me wonder how old it was when they actually started writing about it.
right, because it had to already have been grown and established before they started writing about it.
Exactly, exactly. According to the legend, the rose bush symbolizes prosperity for the city of Hiddlesham as long as it flourishes. Then the town would not decline. Now, in 1945, during World War II, Allied bombers destroyed that particular cathedral, but the bush itself actually survived. Its roots remained intact, and even though it was covered with debris, it still grew up through the debris,
Wow.
Wow.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Rose hips, which are like the buds of roses, are full of vitamin C. They've been used to make things like teas and jams and jellies and marmalades, and it's a medicinal use. It can be used as a food supplement, and you can actually make something called rose hip syrup to add to things like salad dressings and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that.
I
The
put that
fragrance
oil
of the,
on my face.
say again?
I said I put that oil on my face.
Uh, Now, each rose color has a different meaning. Red is obviously love and romance. Pink is grace and elegance. Yellow is cheer and friendship. White signifies innocence, purity, or spirituality. And orange signifies enthusiasm and energy. But there's no such thing as a black or a blue rose. Now, what is sometimes referred to as a black rose is actually a dark red rose. It's like a maroon color. And this article specifically tells you the name of one called the Black Rose of Turkey. It appears pitch black to the eye, but in actuality, it is a dark reddish crimson color. Now, the blue pigments don't occur naturally in roses, but in the 1950s and 60s, um, there was some breeding done that came about with things that they named sterling silver, lavender dream, and lilac charm. They were looking for blue, but what they got was actually a very pale shade of purple.
Hmm.
Um, the rose is the national flower of the United States. I didn't know we had one.
I didn't either.
In 1986, Ronald Reagan officially made the rose the national flower emblem of the United States while standing in the famous White House Rose Gardens.
Hmm.
So there. Now, George Washington and Abraham Lincoln are connected to roses. George Washington was the first rose breeder in the United States. He was actually a horticulturalist, and that's what he did after he was president. After his 2 terms as president, he went and tended to his gardens. And he named one of the roses after his mother, the Mary Washington.
Hmm.
I just thought that was cool.
That
Mm-hmm.
is cool.
And you ready for this? I was like, what? The most expensive rose in the world
Hmm.
from a rose breeder by the name of David Austin. He spent $5 million to create an apricot hued rose over the course of 15 years. It was called Rose Juliet, and it debuted in 2006 at the Chelsea Flower Show. We were just talking about like the competitions, right?
Right.
The Juliet Rose itself sold for $15.8 million in 2006, right?
I can't comprehend spending that much money on a plant.
Yeah, me neither.
Mm-mm. Can you all hear that chicken?
Yes.
I'm sorry. She's right by the window, like right over here.
What
She has
is
something
that?
to say. She's hollering at Dee Dee, where's my lettuce? You got any mealworms? How about some cabbage?
Where's my snacks? Where's my snacks?
Yeah.
So I don't know what she's doing. She's somebody probably upset her. I don't know.
I love it. She's coming. She's tattling. That's what she's doing. She's telling mom.
Yep.
That's funny. Hmm.
I love reading stuff like that. I just think it's, I don't know, it's neat. I wonder how through time people have come to associate these flowers with these different feelings of affection or, regret. Just how did that come about?
Yeah. Yeah, because when I think of the color yellow, I don't think of disappointment. I think of cheer.
Yeah, I think it's a very
Well,
cheery color.
Hmm.
in literature, yellow will often symbolize decay.
Okay, yeah.
Eh,
But I
okay.
think yellow is very cheery. It's my favorite color. One of them, yellows and greens and lilacs.
Yeah.
I think it's a very cheery color. Why it represents decay, it's beyond me, but
Huh.
whatever.
Well, when you think of old paper,
Yeah,
it turns yellow. When you
yeah,
think of like the color white, when it starts to
yes,
get old, if you've painted something white, it starts to turn
it
yellow.
does. Yes, it does. Like an old shirt or something that's
Yeah,
in the back of your closet. Oh, I forgot about that shirt, and now it's kind of yellowish looking. Yeah.
yeah,
I said especially in the armpit section.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, but that color yellow is not really the yellow that I think of as being vibrant and lovely. I mean,
Yeah.
when I think of being vibrant and lovely is like the center of a daisy or the yellow chrysanthemum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sunflower. My
Hmm.
Hmm.
sunflower, I have one sunflower. I've got two. I got one planted over next to the fence at the parking spot. Uh, it's probably 4.5 feet tall. But the one that's right here at the corner of the house is like
He's big.
6.
Yeah.
And it just opened up this morning.
Nice.
Yeah. I'll send you guys a picture. I've already took
Okay.
one. Yeah. Arnie was out this morning and he seen it. So whenever I got up, he was like, come here, look, look. All right, that wraps up our episode on flowers, and that was from one of the nieces. Thank you, Mrs. Gemma, for that. I really enjoyed reading about the symbolism and the different colors and
Hmm.
the way they've been eaten and the ones that are poisonous, you know? So
Avoid
yeah,
those.
that's what?
I said, yeah, avoid those.
Yes, absolutely avoid those. All right, next week we're going to be starting a three-part series on women of the Appalachian Mountains. We haven't picked the first woman yet, so um, you'll find out next week. So until then, I will talk to you guys in chat and we will see one another next week.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
bye.
Bye. Love
Love
y'all.
you.
Love you.